You know, email etiquette is one of the things that is sorely missing out there on the internet, but email etiquette is as important as dining etiquette. One of the things you should do, whenever someone sends you an email, you should always try to reply within 24 hours. Email is electronic mail. It's fast. If someone wanted to wait a week for a reply, they would have sent it to you through the U.S. snail mail. All right? So make sure you do reply within 24 hours. If you do a search on the internet for email etiquette, you'll find that most people believe, the majority of people believe that 24 hours is when you should reply. Maximum 1 week. If you aren't replying within that period of time, it's considered rude. You're actively being rude to someone else. Another thing you should keep in mind is don't type in all caps. When you type something in all caps, it's like yelling at someone! And so you don't want to type, you don't want to yell at people. Make sure you know how to use the cap button, the shift button, to capitalize just those things that you need to capitalize. No need shouting, old man. One other thing you should do, when typing an email message, make sure you put something in the subject line. Don't leave it blank to leave people guessing as to the importance of your message. And don't just do things like, hi, because that's a common subject line for spam. And your email might get deleted altogether and never read by the person you wanted to read your information. Make sure your subject line matches the content of your email as best as you can. It's also meant to be a summary, but at least a general idea, so someone can distinguish one message from another one. One other thing you want to do is make sure you sign your email addresses. You'd be amazed how, RubyTuesday49 at hotmail.com may not be a good indication as to who the heck you are. Make sure that you always put your name at the bottom. And if it's easy for you to forget to do that, or you feel like that's a pain to do that every time, or it's an official business email, make sure you set a thing called a signature at the bottom of your email. In most email programs, you can set up a little thing to automatically put your name, address, phone number, email address, website, anything like that, at the bottom of every email message. That can save you from having to type out Dealey, Beard, or whatever every time that you send out an email message. It's easy to do, and it's always polite, and you make sure your message, the person knows who it's from, because they may not always recognize your email address right off the bat. A lot of us can't always get the kind of email address we want, like askthetechies at gmail.com. You may have to find you have to kind of settle for something less than perfect. One more thing that I did want to bring up to you on emails is attachments. It is rude to send an email attachment to someone without making sure it's in a format that they can read. I'll give you a prime example. You create something in Microsoft Office 2007 and you save it in an Office 2007 format. You're sending it to someone who doesn't have Office 2007, or you don't know if they do. They can't open it in an Office 2003 version for Windows or the Office 2004 version for Mac. So a lot of people won't be able to read your document. It might not be a bad idea to save it as a PDF, export as a PDF, or save it as a rich text file format or in an older format to make sure your viewer can read it. The rich text format .rtf is the right kind of file that you want to make sure that you send, so that it can be opened in any word processing program that's out there. Or if it's an image file, you're fine as a JPEG, but make sure it's not too large an image file. Keep in mind that it's notorious to take these digital cameras. I got an 8 megapixel digital camera, and what I do is I send them the whole file. No, that can be like, a couple of megabyte file. So you want to avoid that, particularly with like raw images that can be large as well. Make sure you compress the images first in an image editing program before you send it as an email attachment. I mentioned .rtf. That's another thing. When you do name a file, make sure you don't accidentally delete the extension. So if you see in the file name when you're naming something, it's like untitled.rtf, then you want to type in your name for the file. That would make sense. Make sure you don't delete the RTF aspect, because if you do that, their other person's computer may not be able to open your file. And don't go changing the names. If you wanted to make it a PDF, you don't just make it a PDF file by changing the file extension to .pdf. That won't work. Well, hopefully this has helped you to understand a little bit about things you should and shouldn't do to be polite on the internet when working with email.